Chosen one, before your thumb moves to scroll past this message, I need you to stop and listen to my voice. This specific moment on your screen is not the result of an algorithm, and it is certainly not a random coincidence. Heaven has literally bent the rules of time to place this exact warning directly in your path today. Right now, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. If you ignore this divine appointment and scroll away, the window of this exact alignment will close forever. Stay with me for just a few moments today. A massive shift is occurring in the unseen realm regarding your future. You have been waiting for this good news. You have been praying for a breakthrough that feels like it will never arrive. The cycle of scarcity and silence is ending today. Let me speak to something very tender now. I want you to pause exactly where you are. Unclench your jaw and let your heavy shoulders fall. You have been carrying too much weight in your mind. I know the nights you have stayed awake. You stare at the dark ceiling while the world sleeps. You calculate endless numbers in your head. You feel suffocated by the fear of how you will survive. I saw every single silent tear you swallowed. I saw how you smiled in the morning to keep everyone else comfortable. Your spirit was breaking quietly in the dark while you took care of them. You are tired of being the strong one. You are tired of bleeding to prove you care. Heaven has been watching your struggle, and heaven is perfectly aware of your exhaustion. You are fully seen today. You have lived in survival mode for so long. You are always waiting for the next bad news to drop. Your nervous system no longer knows how to recognize actual peace. You tend to overthink every single tiny decision. You are terrified that one wrong step will ruin the destiny I have prepared for you. But hear my voice clearly right now. You cannot ruin what I have called you to just by being human. You feel an invisible tension that follows you through the day. There is a quiet, persistent heaviness in your chest. It makes you feel like something is wrong, even when nothing has happened yet. Your body is not betraying you today. You are not losing your mind. That tension is not regular anxiety. It is a heavy form of spiritual bracing. Your spirit knows that a massive transition is finally at the door. The first sign that this message was ordained for you is not excitement. It is the deep pressure you have felt lately to explain yourself again. You feel the constant need to defend yourself. You want to prove to someone that your heart was clean when they misunderstood you. I ask you to not do it anymore. Your time of performing innocence is over. I require your holy silence to clear the room. You thought my silence meant I was angry with you. You thought your long delay was a punishment for not having enough faith. That is a lie planted by the enemy to keep you shrinking. You have exhausted yourself standing at the wrong counter. You beg for scraps of what is already yours. Stop acting like a slave in the house of your father. An inheritance has already been deeded directly to your name. The heavy fog in your mind is real. The forgetfulness that frustrates you daily is not because you are failing. It is the physiological weight of carrying a massive spiritual calling in a human body. You have been carrying the burdens of your entire bloodline. You are the chosen cycle breaker, and breaking generational curses takes an immense toll on your vessel. I clearly see your hidden pain. Do not skip the next few minutes. What I am about to reveal will shatter the transactional religion that has kept you trapped in fear. I clearly hear your desperate prayers. I hear you trying to bargain with me. You promise to work harder and sacrifice more just so I might notice your struggle. I am stepping into your storm today not to give you a map, but to give you a profound revelation. Let me pull back the veil and speak directly to your weary heart today. You spend your long days surrounded by people who constantly demand your precious energy. They take and they take, without ever asking how empty you feel inside. And then the sun finally goes down, the busy house gets completely quiet. That is when the heavy wall of isolation crashes down on you. You are so deeply lonely even in a crowded room. I saw you sitting on the edge of the bed just the other night. You were staring at the cold floor while the crushing weight of reality pressed against your chest. You covered your mouth with your hands so no one would hear you breaking apart. You swallowed your bitter tears because you convinced yourself you had to be the strong one. You always protect them. But who is protecting you in the quiet dark? Your exhausted mind raced through 1,000 terrible scenarios. You thought about the mounting bills piling up and the physical resources running completely dry. You calculated every single dollar until your head began to pound with intense pressure. The quiet anxiety gripped your throat like a heavy physical hand. You felt entirely abandoned by heaven in that specific moment. You wondered if I had turned my face away from your suffering. But the next morning arrived and you put the heavy armor right back on. You forced a bright and convincing smile for your family and your demanding co-workers. You answered their endless questions and solved their messy problems with gentle grace. No one around you has any idea how close you are to completely shattering. They just see the strong vessel. They never see the hidden cracks bleeding out your precious energy every single day. You are the tired caregiver of your entire bloodline. You carry the heavy emotional burdens of people who simply refuse to carry themselves. And you do it because your spirit is naturally generous and fiercely protective. But this constant output has drained your physical body to the absolute bottom. Your bones ache with a deep sorrow that sleep simply cannot fix. You wake up just as exhausted as when you lay down to rest. You have cried out to me in those desperate midnight hours. You whispered your broken prayers into the dark room and felt like they simply bounced off the ceiling. You asked me why the wicked seem to prosper while you continually struggle just to survive another week. You asked why your pure intentions are constantly met with closed doors and harsh misunderstandings from those you deeply love. I need you to hear this profound truth loud and clear today. Your quiet prayers did not bounce off the ceiling. I captured every single word and I bottled every single tear you shed. I was sitting right beside you on that cold bedroom floor when you felt completely hollow. You thought my extended silence was an angry rejection, but my silence was simply the deep focus of a father working fiercely on your behalf. The physical pain in your tired shoulders is a testament to how much you love others. The constant tension in your jaw comes from biting your tongue to keep the fragile peace. You have sacrificed your own comfort to ensure everyone else feels entirely secure and happy. But the long season of you bleeding out for ungrateful people is coming to a strict end. I am officially intervening in your exhausting routine today. Stop telling yourself that you are not praying hard enough. Stop believing the cruel whisper that your lack of perfect faith is causing this painful delay. You are enduring the immense pressure of a major spiritual transition. A tiny seed must be completely buried in the dark dirt before it can push through the soil. You are not buried today. You are simply planted for a massive and abundant harvest. Breathe very slowly now. Release the terrible guilt of feeling weak and utterly defeated. You are allowed to be a fragile human being right now. I do not require your absolute perfection to deliver my grand promises to you. I only require your open hands and your willingness to let me carry the heavy load. Stay with me right here. The true reason behind your intense suffering is about to be fully uncovered. I need you to understand something clearly today. There is a massive difference between a closed door and a protective shield. You have looked at your current situation and called it a terrible punishment. And because your human eyes only see the confusing surface, you believe my silence means I am deeply disappointed in you. You thought I was ignoring your desperate cries for help, but while you were weeping in your quiet room, I was aggressively fighting for you in the unseen realm. I have been clearing out the toxic people and the hidden traps from your future path. My silence was never a rejection. My silence was simply the sound of me working fiercely in the dark. If I had answered your urgent prayers when you first asked, you would have walked right into a deadly ambush. The enemy had set a vicious trap waiting for you just behind that specific door. You begged me to open it because it looked like a perfect blessing. But I kept it locked shut because I clearly saw the dark poison hidden inside. I completely protected you. Breathe out that heavy guilt you have been carrying for months. You constantly replay your past mistakes and wonder if they disqualified you from the harvest. You believe you are suffering now because you failed a spiritual test last year. Stop listening to the lying voice of the dark enemy. Your past mistakes did not cancel your divine inheritance. Let me completely reframe the frustrating delay you are living through right now. You are not waiting because you lack sufficient faith. You are waiting because the massive blessing I am preparing requires a much stronger foundation before it can safely land. If I handed you the enormous wealth today, the sheer weight of it would crush your fragile human vessel. The people who suddenly walked away from your life were meant to leave. You cried over their harsh departure and felt deeply betrayed, but I removed them on purpose because they could not handle the bright season you are entering today. They would have drained your precious resources, and they would have polluted your upcoming harvest with their toxic jealousy. Do not mourn the loss of relationships that were slowly destroying your inner peace. You are the chosen one, and your specific path requires absolute purity of environment. I am busy sweeping the room of your future completely clean. I will not let you share your promised estate with people who secretly hope you will eventually fail. This is where many chosen ones get confused and decide to turn back. They feel the painful ache of isolation and they quickly call it a terrible mistake. But you must understand that holy isolation is the absolute prerequisite for spiritual elevation. You are hidden right now because you are being heavily armored for the upcoming battle. The delay was never a punishment. It was my fierce and calculated protection over your life. I am shielding your precious energy from the shallow distractions that constantly seek to consume your limited time. The enemy wants you rushing around trying to force doors open. He wants you exhausted and bitter so you will drop your divine crown right in the dirt. You must lay down your heavy human logic today. Stop trying to analyze the timeline. The timeline of heaven does not operate on your stressful calendar or your mounting daily bills. I am orchestrating a perfect alignment of people and resources that will completely blow your mind. The pieces are moving into place right now while you simply sit and breathe. I need you to shift your posture from a begging victim to a trusting heir. A beggar constantly worries if the master will drop a few crumbs on the floor today. But an heir knows the entire estate already belongs to them completely. You do not have to beg for what I have already written strictly into your eternal destiny. Your long period of wandering in this dry wilderness is officially coming to an end. The silence you hear right now is not the terrifying silence of an abandoned house. It is the breathtaking silence just before the grand orchestra begins to play its first loud note. The heavy curtain is about to rise on the greatest season of your entire life. Get ready to receive. Let me speak to something very different now. I want you to hold this next sentence and let it land deep in your spirit. Lately, you have been waking up with a heavy fog in your mind. There is an unexplained exhaustion sitting tight in your chest. You think it is just normal stress, but you are completely wrong. Do not scroll past this specific warning today. Your body is reacting to a massive spiritual shift happening right now. You walk into a room and suddenly forget why you even went there. You stare at your computer screen, and the words just blur together into a messy puzzle. Your physical energy drains completely out before it is even noon. You drink your coffee, but the deep tiredness never actually leaves your heavy bones. You secretly wonder if there is something medically wrong with your fragile brain. You feel incredibly frustrated because you used to be so sharp and perfectly focused. Now you struggle to hold a simple conversation without losing your train of scattered thought. You feel like you are slowly losing your precious mind. But I need you to absolutely reject that dark lie today. I clearly see the immense frustration burning behind your tired eyes. I know how much effort it takes just to pretend you are functioning normally. You force yourself to remember important details for your demanding job. You push your exhausted brain to keep track of everyone else in your busy house. And you do this while your own inner world feels incredibly chaotic. Pause briefly right where you are today. Resist the strong urge to keep moving at this frantic pace. Linger here for the length of 3 very slow breaths. Unclench your tight jaw and let the heavy fog settle for just a moment. You have carried these massive responsibilities while your physical body is crying out for absolute rest. Your vessel is screaming for a quiet break. The heavy fog in your mind is not a sign of personal failure. It is not because you are getting older or losing your sharp edge. It is a very specific physical symptom of a deep spiritual battle. You have been carrying the massive weight of survival for your entire family tree. You are the designated cycle breaker, and breaking those dark curses takes a huge toll on your body. You have lived in a state of high alert for many long years. You constantly wait for the other shoe to drop and ruin your fragile peace. This chronic state of nervous bracing has disconnected your mental clarity. Your brain is literally shutting down the extra tabs to conserve energy for basic survival. You are completely exhausted because your soul is fighting invisible wars. I saw you misplace your keys and break down in sudden tears. I saw you snap at someone you deeply love because your nerves are completely fried. I saw the quiet shame wash over you immediately after that angry moment. You felt like a terrible person, but you are not a bad person at all. You are just a profoundly tired warrior who has been bleeding on the battlefield. No one else sees the invisible backpack you wear every single day. It is filled with the heavy rocks of financial worry and family drama. It holds the dense weight of generational trauma that you are actively trying to heal. You are trying to heal wounds that you did not even cause yourself. That is why your physical brain feels like it is wrapped in thick mud. Do not let the distraction of this noisy world pull your eyes away from what I am revealing. There is a deeply specific reason why this heavy fog has intensified right now. The enemy knows exactly what is waiting for you just around the corner. He is actively attacking your mental focus today. He wants you completely disoriented when your massive blessing finally arrives. Stay with me in this holy sanctuary. Hold on to my voice while the storm rages outside. The extreme cognitive heaviness you feel right now is simply a symptom of the threshold. You are standing exactly on the boundary line between your long wilderness and your promised harvest. I am about to show you exactly how to lift this dark fog. The true healing begins right now. Let me show you the unseen truth behind your constant exhaustion today. You have looked at the recent string of endless setbacks and called it terrible luck. You think the universe is somehow punishing you for a forgotten mistake. But I need you to recognize the actual architecture of this intense battle, because the things happening to you are not random bad luck at all. This is a highly calculated spiritual attack. The dark enemy did not target your mind because you are weak and vulnerable. He targeted your focus because he is absolutely terrified of the destiny written on your life. He knows exactly what is waiting for you in the coming harvest, and he sees the massive wealth that you are about to inherit. That vision makes him panic completely. You are a massive threat to his dark kingdom. Look closely at the sudden chaos that erupted in your life recently. The unexpected bills drained your bank account right when you started feeling slightly secure. The close friends suddenly turned their backs and completely misunderstood your pure intentions. None of this was a random coincidence. It was a coordinated strike designed to make you deeply bitter, because a bitter heart cannot receive a pure blessing. He wants you totally distracted. The adversary cannot steal your divine inheritance directly. He has absolutely no legal authority to touch what heaven has already deeded to your name. So he attacks the only thing he can actually reach in this physical realm. He violently attacks your physical energy and your daily mental clarity. He sends that heavy brain fog to make you forget your royal identity. He wants you feeling like a lost beggar again. He knows that if he can keep you drowning in daily anxiety, you will never step into your true power. He wants you totally consumed by basic survival mode. He deeply hopes you will simply lay down in the dirt and surrender right before the finish line. But his pathetic strategy has officially failed today. I am exposing his dark lies directly to your spirit right now, and he cannot hide in the shadows anymore. Stop blaming yourself for the heavy resistance you feel every single morning. The intense friction in your daily life is actual proof that you are moving in the exact right direction. You do not face this level of spiritual warfare unless you are carrying something incredibly valuable to the kingdom. The forces of darkness do not waste heavy ammunition on empty vessels. You are heavily loaded with divine purpose. You are the chosen cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. You carry the divine mandate to wipe out generations of deep poverty and toxic family trauma. The dark forces that held your ancestors captive are terrified today because they know you are the one who finally ends their long reign. They fight you so hard because they are currently losing their grip on your family tree forever. The spiritual warfare around your mind is incredibly loud right now because the enemy is completely out of time. His eviction notice has already been signed by the highest court of heaven. The sudden spikes of fear in your chest are simply the loud echoes of his own panic. Do not own his fear today. That heavy anxiety does not belong to your spirit at all. Throw it back to the absolute darkness. I need you to completely change your posture right now. Stop walking through your house with your tired head bowed in heavy defeat. Stop apologizing for the messy chaos that the enemy intentionally created in your daily life. You are the rightful heir, and you hold immense spiritual authority over this entire situation. Stand up straight and square your tired shoulders. The season of you taking a brutal beating in silence is over. Heaven is drawing a thick line of holy protection around your mind and your remaining resources. The dark fog is rapidly losing its heavy grip on your exhausted nervous system. The invisible chains that kept you deeply confused and frustrated are snapping right now. Your enemy truly thought the heavy pressure would completely crush you into dust, but he forgot that extreme pressure only creates a brilliant diamond. Let me push you a little deeper into the unseen reality today. You feel an immense and crushing pressure building up on all sides right now. Your physical resources are stretched completely thin. Every single day feels like walking through a thick wall of heavy mud, and you constantly wonder how much longer your tired bones can actually endure this tight squeeze. This intense friction is not a sign of your approaching death. It is the undeniable proof of your impending birth. You are standing directly on the exact threshold of your promised harvest. A threshold is always the most violent and chaotic place in any spiritual journey. The heavy winds blow the hardest right before you step through the open door. The enemy is throwing every possible weapon at your mind to make you turn back, because he knows that if you take one more faithful step forward, his dark kingdom completely loses you forever. Look at the intense compression you are currently facing today. You feel trapped in a very small and suffocating space right now. Your bank account looks completely dry, and your daily options seem entirely exhausted. You feel like a giant forced to live inside a tiny cage. But that unbearable tightness is actually a divine design, and heaven is deliberately compressing your tired spirit to build up massive explosive power for your upcoming season. Think about how a sharp arrow is pulled violently backward on a heavy bow. The deep tension in the string feels like it is about to snap in half. You are that chosen arrow right now. The extreme pressure pulling you backward into the dark is preparing you for a massive launch. Do not mistake the painful tension for a permanent defeat. The divine archer is simply aiming you toward a massive financial target while the enemy watches in absolute terror. Your financial breakthrough is fully authorized and waiting for you today, but there is one final specific key you are missing to unlock the heavy vault. There is a profound financial strategy the enemy desperately hoped you would never learn. He works overtime to keep this hidden truth far away from your tired ears. Because once you hold this specific key securely in your hand, you will never have to struggle alone in the cold and dark wilderness ever again. I am going to place this specific mandate directly in your hand today, but you must hold your sacred ground just a little bit longer. Do not let the intense pressure of this narrow hallway break your resolve. The darkest and coldest hour of the long night always arrives just before the brilliant morning sun completely shatters the black sky. Your massive breakthrough is currently suspended right above your tired head. You have fought too hard and bled too much to surrender today. Look at the long and treacherous road you have already survived. You walked through deep valleys of grief and climbed steep mountains of bitter betrayal. You carried the heavy burdens of ungrateful people, and you still kept your soft heart completely pure. I will never let your massive sacrifice end in quiet ruin, and I promise that your great reward is absolutely guaranteed to manifest. The intense compression in your chest is about to completely release. The heavy threshold is finally resolving into a wide-open room. But stepping into that abundant room requires a massive shift in your spiritual posture. You cannot walk into a season of massive wealth carrying the heavy mindset of a broken slave. You must quickly shed the toxic habit of expecting terrible news every single morning, because the upcoming season requires you to expect daily miracles instead. I need you to boldly prepare your vessel for a shocking influx of divine favor. This incoming harvest will not trickle down slowly like small drops of rain. It is going to rush into your dry life like a massive flood breaking through a concrete dam. The heavy debts that kept you awake at night will be washed away completely. The people who mocked your quiet faith will stand in absolute silence when they finally see the beautiful crown placed upon your head. Stay with me, and do not let your focus drift away. The enemy is currently whispering loud lies into your tired mind to steal your focus. He tells you that this specific message is just empty hope for a desperate soul. I command you to actively reject that dark whisper right now. You are standing on holy ground today, and the mighty door of your divine inheritance is slowly creaking open right in front of your tired eyes. Let me speak directly into the deepest wound of your tired soul today. You have carried a heavy bag of toxic guilt for far too many years. You secretly believe that every bad thing happening is a direct result of your own spiritual failure and lack of perfect faith. You constantly punish yourself for mistakes that heaven has already completely forgotten. I command you to drop that heavy bag right now. Stop blaming yourself for the doors that violently slammed shut. Stop blaming yourself for the people who chose to walk away. Stop blaming yourself for the financial drought that dried up your resources. Stop blaming yourself for not having enough faith when you were simply too exhausted to even stand on your own 2 feet. You are completely forgiven by the highest court today. I never demanded your flawless perfection to release your promised harvest. I only ever asked for your proximity and your willing heart. The heavy fog in your mind made you think you were actively failing my tests. But you were never actually failing my holy tests. You were simply surviving a brutal spiritual war in a fragile human vessel. The blood of the Lamb covers every single moment of your human weakness today. I wash away the bitter shame of your past financial mistakes. I wash away the deep regret of the precious time you feel you completely wasted. I wash away the heavy anxiety that tells you it is simply too late to start over again. I wash away the toxic lie that you must constantly suffer to earn my holy love. The season of your cruel self-punishment is officially over. Look at me and lift your heavy head right now. A petitioner stands at a cold counter and desperately bargains for tiny crumbs while they cry to prove they are worthy of basic survival. But an heir walks confidently through the front door of the grand estate and simply receives. You are not a tired beggar. You are the chosen and rightful heir to a massive kingdom. Your massive inheritance was never based on your perfect daily performance. It was permanently secured by a divine covenant that the enemy can never break. You have spent years trying to pay for a divine gift that was already given to you for free by the grace of heaven. Stop trying to buy my favor with your endless tears and your chronic exhaustion. Open your empty hands and let me completely fill them. You are entirely worthy of the massive financial blessing coming your way. You are entirely worthy of the deep peace that will flood your noisy mind. You are entirely worthy of the safe relationships I am bringing into your new season. The enemy told you that you were too broken to be used for greatness, but heaven specifically uses broken vessels to pour out the most precious oil. Feel the heavy chains of condemnation falling off your tired shoulders right now. The intense pressure in your chest is melting away into a profound and holy peace. You are stepping out of the dark courtroom where the enemy constantly accused you. The high judge of heaven has slammed the wooden gavel down. The final verdict is absolutely in your favor today. You are completely vindicated. You do not have to explain yourself to the people who deeply misunderstood your journey. You do not have to prove your pure heart to anyone ever again. Fearful silence tries to hide in the dark, but faithful silence stands tall in the brilliant light. Your vindication truly begins the exact moment you finally stop needing every confused person in your life to become your personal judge. I am your only judge today. The heavy winter of your deep sorrow is melting into a glorious spring. The long and bitter nights of crying alone on the bathroom floor are completely over because your season of massive weeping has officially expired today. An overwhelming shout of pure joy is rushing into your bright morning. The massive doors of the heavenly vault are unlocking just for you. You are completely ready for the grand climax of your story. Step into your absolute authority right now. You are the chosen cycle breaker of your entire bloodline. The good news you have been desperately waiting for is finally here today. Heaven has officially authorized a massive transfer of wealth directly into your tired hands, because you are no longer a tired survivor fighting for basic scraps in the dirt. You are the rightful heir walking directly into your grand estate with your head held high. The dark enemy is trembling at the sound of your rising footsteps today. He knows his long reign of terror over your finances has reached a brutal end, and he is terrified of the massive power you are about to unleash. You have endured the heavy crushing of the winepress for many bitter years, but that intense crushing only produced the most valuable and powerful anointing oil. You are stepping into the bright spotlight of heaven. I promised to reveal the secret financial key the enemy tried desperately to hide from you, because he knows it will instantly break your heavy chains. That specific key is not working yourself to the bone. It is not begging me for another long hour in the cold dark. The ultimate key to your massive wealth is your total surrender and your absolute holy silence. You activate the heavy doors of the heavenly vault by standing completely still. You simply refuse to panic anymore. Your frantic daily anxiety completely blocks the divine flow of abundance, but your supreme confidence instantly commands the financial blessing to manifest in your physical reality. Stop asking me to bless your constant hustle and your exhausting daily grind. I want to deeply bless your profound rest instead. The true inheritance is never earned by your endless sweat. It is only received by your open and fully trusting hands. The profound good news is that the heavy cycle of family debt is permanently broken today. The massive delays that tortured your mind have been completely swept away by my hand, and you do not have to wait another 10 years for your grand harvest to finally arrive. The divine resources you desperately need are being released into your physical reality this very week. The heavy chains of poverty are officially shattered forever. But heaven always requires a physical anchor for this massive spiritual shift. In the next 24 hours, I am going to send you a very specific prophetic sign that will prove this massive transition is fully underway. Do not look away when this beautiful confirmation suddenly appears in your normal daily path. It will completely shock your tired heart. This is my absolute promise to you today. You came into this exact moment feeling like a broken and abandoned beggar, terrified that my long silence meant a cruel punishment for your hidden flaws. But now the dark fog is lifted completely from your exhausted and overworked mind. You finally know the brilliant truth about your royal identity. You are the chosen heir, and the heavenly vault is completely open for you today. The heavy anxiety that violently gripped your chest just 10 minutes ago has been washed away by my profound peace, placing you confidently in the bright light of a brand new season. Your heavy spiritual wounds have been deeply bound and properly healed in this holy sanctuary today. I have equipped you with the exact weapon you need to conquer your massive future. The darkness cannot touch you anymore. If your spirit strongly confirms this profound peace today, I invite you to make a bold physical move. Take a quiet moment to honor this holy altar with your pure gratitude. Kindly plant a financial seed through the Super Thanks button below right now. This specific action is not a desperate plea for a miracle, but rather your confident physical decree that you absolutely trust the massive harvest is already coming. You are actively stepping out of fear and stepping boldly into abundant faith. When you plant a seed from a place of pure confidence, you tell the enemy that his lies have failed and you are finally ready to manage massive wealth. Do not hesitate if your spirit feels the gentle pull to secure this profound blessing. Claim your royal inheritance today and watch the heavy doors open extremely wide. Let the heavy intensity of this moment slowly settle down around you. You have carried some incredibly heavy things throughout this specific message today. Your spirit has just absorbed a massive amount of divine light. The heavy lifting is completely over now. You do not need to fight any more battles in your tired mind today. Just be perfectly still. I want you to pause exactly where you are sitting or standing right now. Gently close your tired eyes if you are in a safe place to do so. Take one very slow and deep breath in through your nose. Fill your empty lungs with pure air. Hold it for just a second. Now let it out very slowly through your mouth. Exhale every last drop of that toxic anxiety. Feel the heavy armor finally falling off your tired back. You do not need to wear that heavy metal suit in this holy room. Unclench your tight jaw and let your tongue rest gently in your mouth. Drop your tense shoulders completely down away from your ears. Unclench your tight fists and just let your open hands rest quietly in your lap. Your nervous system has been running on absolute fumes for so many long months. You have been trapped in a painful loop of constant survival and deep fear. But that brutal cycle is officially broken in the spiritual realm today. Tell your racing heart that it is finally safe to slow completely down. The dark emergency is completely over now. You do not have to figure out how tomorrow is going to work. You do not have to solve the complicated puzzle of your massive future right now. That heavy responsibility belongs entirely to heaven, and your only job today is to completely surrender your tight grip on the steering wheel. Let the divine current gently carry your tired vessel downstream. Notice the profound quietness that is slowly filling up your empty chest. That beautiful silence is not the terrifying absence of sound. It is the heavy presence of my absolute peace. The loud voices of your cruel enemies have been completely muted by my hand. The harsh voice of your own inner critic has been officially silenced today. You can finally stop worrying about everyone else in your busy life for just a moment. They are completely safe in my hands while you rest here with me. You cannot pour fresh water from a deeply cracked and empty cup. You must let me completely repair your broken vessel before you try to serve another person. Permit yourself to simply exist right now. The massive war in the unseen realm has already been won on your behalf. The bloody battlefield is entirely quiet now. You do not need to swing your heavy sword anymore today. Place your spiritual weapon gently on the ground. The only posture required from you right now is the quiet posture of a grateful heir who is finally safe at home. Feel the solid ground supporting your tired feet right now. You are entirely tethered to a foundation that no violent storm can ever move. The dark winds may blow outside your window, but they cannot touch the profound warmth inside this holy sanctuary. You are securely hidden under the massive shadow of my protective wings today. Take one more, very slow and deep breath, right here with me. Breathe in the absolute certainty of your beautiful new season. Breathe out the last remaining shadows of your old bitter wilderness. The heavy fog in your mind has completely dissolved into thin air. Your spiritual vision is perfectly clear, and your tired heart is finally deeply rested. Linger in this beautiful stillness for as long as your body needs. Do not rush back into the noisy chaos of your daily routine just yet. Let this profound healing sink deep into your heavy bones. You are completely loved, and you are completely protected. The grand shift has already happened, and you are finally resting on the safe side of the ocean. The heavy season of isolation is breaking off your shoulders right now, but heaven always works through deep connection. There is someone in your phone contacts right now who is staring at their dark screen. They are terrified of tomorrow and completely consumed by their heavy bills, just like you were. You must use your own hands to be their divine rescue today. When you share this exact message with them, you set the mighty law of heavenly multiplication into motion. Pass this vital word on to them right now. Share it with a deeply wounded friend. Save a tired soul tonight. When you freely give out the healing water, your own well will never run dry. Watch how quickly your massive harvest multiplies when you protect others. You must understand how the mathematics of heaven truly operate. A selfish heart hoards the blessing and quickly stops the divine flow, but a generous spirit creates an endless river of pure abundance. When you become a strong bridge for someone else to cross, heaven will build a massive highway for your own journey. Do not keep this profound healing locked away in secret. You are the rightful heir, and you have heard the absolute truth. You no longer have to live like a terrified beggar in the cold wilderness. Your massive financial breakthrough is fully authorized and waiting for your signature. I need you to completely seal this powerful prophetic word over your family today. The enemy cannot steal what is legally signed in the light. Go into the comments right now and write the numbers 777, Write 777 to permanently seal this word and declare perfect provision over your household. Leave the word Amen below as the first stroke of a massive acknowledgement signed by a royal heir. This simple physical action is your iron covenant with heaven today. By typing those specific numbers, you are drawing a thick bloodline around your family and your future resources. You are publicly serving a strict eviction notice to the dark spirit of poverty. The evil forces monitoring your life will see your bold signature and completely tremble. They will finally realize that you have awakened to your true royal identity today. The dark enemy will try to return tomorrow morning. He will try to make you forget the profound peace you feel in this holy sanctuary right now. He constantly uses the noisy distractions of this world to drown out the clear voice of heaven. You must actively defend the precious territory you just won back today. Do not leave your spiritual doors wide open for the thief. Subscribe to this sanctuary so tomorrow brings another fresh word directly to your tired spirit. Subscribe so the enemy cannot block my voice from reaching you when you need it the most. You are building a powerful spiritual wall around your vulnerable mind. Make sure this daily bread reaches you before the old toxic habit of the enemy returns to steal your joy. Your daily environment dictates the level of your spiritual strength. If you constantly consume the loud panic of this broken world, your fragile faith will quickly starve. But if you plant yourself by this holy river every single day, your roots will grow incredibly deep. You must intentionally curate the loud voices you allow into your sacred mental space today. The great delay is officially over, and your grand harvest is already in motion. Walk confidently into the rest of your day with your head held very high. You carry the brilliant mark of the chosen elite upon your forehead. No weapon formed against your massive destiny will ever prosper again. Heaven is actively fighting for you while you simply breathe and firmly trust. The good news you begged for is finally manifesting in your physical reality this very week. Do not shrink back into the dark shadows. Step fully into the bright light of your brand new season. You are perfectly safe, and you are entirely loved by the Creator of the universe. Go in absolute peace today. Your beautiful inheritance is entirely secure.